I gotta get this off my chest, guys. This is directed at one Tom Dark, or should I say, Tom Dork. Brother, where are the videos on that channel, my man? Cheeto's doing what you're doing. I'm Tom Dark, better than you are doing, man. I think you're gooning. I don't think you work out. To be honest with you, my man, I think you're smooching with Destiny.
Whoa, buddy. What's this about Turkey Tom? I thought we were talking about Ninja Turtles. Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Shell. Beyond the Shell is a new video series that Buddy and I are going to do. This is my friend Buddy here.
Let's meet you guys.
We're going to talk turtles. It's going to be a fun time. So the topic of today's video is going to be Ninja Turtles crossovers. Crossovers are pivotal in the Ninja Turtles IP. And crossovers give us some of the best stories and merchandise out of the Turtles.
In regards to crossovers with the Turtles, this is kind of integral to the franchise, seeing how the very first one was legitimately 8 issues into the first ever comic series. This was super huge for creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, seeing how they're able to work with one of their idols, Dave Sim, creator of Cerebus. This was a pretty fun crossover issue, nothing super groundbreaking, just a good fun little adventure, though it would be integral to the Turtles franchise, giving us characters such as Avanti Romero and Renette also. Renette being the goofball that she is.
That's how you're gonna describe her?
Yeah, she's a goofball. She decides to go play with the Time Scepter that transports her to 1986 and somehow meets the Turtles. Time Master Lord Simultaneous is really upset. They get transported, somehow meeting Cerebus in the process. Yeah, they have to fight Avanti Romero to get back to the present.
Almost like the Army of Darkness.
Oh, exactly. That's what I love about it.
This cover is beautiful. Avanti Romero is an amazing character.
Renette also, dude.
Yeah, both characters I feel like we should get more representation of in modern Turtles.
What happened with Cerebus was, unfortunately, it just became a very niche indie comic, and Dave Sim would get into quite a few controversies that I don't feel like talking about here. But again, it's up to you guys at the end of the day if you want to go and read Cerebus, so...
Which is kind of interesting, because I feel like it was that time period where anthropomorphic animals were just
they ruled
all
the
the
freaking
rage.
comic shelves.
So, it's crazy that Cerebus wasn't a bigger thing than it was.
The alternative crossover of 1986,
The alternative crossover?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I got the poster.
Alternative comics?
Yeah.
That's pretty, that's pretty punk.
Alrighty guys, so our next crossover is what pretty much is just kind of like the Aliens versus Predator of the franchise, and that being Usagi Yojimbo. Pretty much back in the day, like Drake had said, in regards to just the influx of black and white anthropomorphic cartoon characters.
Which are rad as hell, honestly.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Dude.
Like Street Sharks and Biker Mice and Thundercats.
Even Pandacon,
Battletoads.
Yeah, so inspired by a comic called Cerebus Jam, which was something that Dave Sim cooked up to allow other creators to tell some Cerebus stories, we would get Turtle Soup, which was an anthology book of the Turtles having a bunch of different adventures by different creators, and one would be by Stan Sakai. You just have a fun misunderstanding between Leo and Usagi, and it is just a story that highlights Stan Sakai's just eye and talent for telling really funny stories back in the day, and still to this day, in my opinion. Next up, you'd have Leo popping up on the cover of Usagi number 9 from Fantagraphics. Leo and Usagi finally meet, have a little bit of a friendly duel, and come to terms with each other, and then it's said that they become good friends after that.
That's pretty based.
Yeah, and also a pretty based comic due to the fact that it's also Usagi's main antagonist, Jay's first appearance as well.
Jay.
And the last up would be Shell Shock with a freaking awesome cover by A.C. Farley.
Beautiful cover. I love this one so much.
And this would be just another really fun Stan Sakai story of Leo trying to get back home with a pizza, somehow getting warped into Usagi's world, meeting up with some of his friends. and just somehow trying to get back home to eat some pizza and watch a flick with the rest of the guys.
And I just love how mystical the turtles look on the cover.
Yeah.
They look like woodland creatures,
And again,
also like fantasy mystical
I love the
creatures.
early work of Stan Sakai so much just because it's so fun and cartoony.
This is another anthology?
Yeah, a bunch of anthology stories. They loved doing that back in the day. Usagi would later get brought over to Mirage and have a crossover with the Turtles, and it would be a pretty awesome crossover at that. And after that, the floodgates would be open with Usagi appearing in the 87 cartoon, getting his own action figure, and just more and more and more over the years.
Yeah, it's always interesting because I got introduced to Usagi just through the Ninja Turtles toy line. I just thought he was another mutant in the TV show or something.
Usagi is thankfully still going strong and written by Stan Sakai to this day. For the next comic crossover that we'll talk about here, it's a character, and I know a lot of people are complaining about, oh, Invincible's animation. Guys, I want Savage Dragon Invincible. Now, Image came along in the vein of what the original Mirage guys were for at the end of the day. They just wanted creators' rights for their comic books. And Savage Dragon would be a pretty popular one, right up there with Spawn and Youngbloods. Again, Savage Dragon was just such a cool character, in my opinion, and though Spawn is the flagship of Image, I always felt Savage Dragon is very, very underrated. The first crossover involves them going on a pretty wild adventure throughout Chicago. Again, Michael Dooney just had such awesome art skills.
Beautiful.
I even got the poster of that cover. The Mirage guys giving their thumbs up to Eric Larson was a very big sign when you had a lot of criticism for books like Spawn back in the day from a lot of comic pros. It's something where, it does kind of play into the history of the franchise also. During the late 90s, unfortunately, Turtles was kind of losing popularity there for a time. So, unfortunately, Mirage Studios kind of went out of business, so thankfully, due to the connections they had with Eric Larson, they were able to bring the Turtles to Image for a time there.
So now I'm going to take it from here and kind of talk about some action figure crossovers. Buddy's the comic guy, I'm the action figure guy. Playmates is known for making a million variants of the Turtles. They're taking every opportunity to put another figure on the shelf.
And drain our wallets at the same time.
Of course. Even in the original line, you get astronauts, sports players, superheroes, even farmers. How crazy is that?
Farmer Don is the best there.
You want a turtle smoking a corn pipe and on a tractor? It exists. But our first official crossover with another IP in the Ninja Turtles toy line is in 1993 with the Universal Monsters, which happens to be my all-time favorite crossover. So the first wave of figures in 1993 was Wolfman Leo, Mikey as Frankenstein, or Mikey as Frankenstein's monster, Don as Dracula. We also get Raph as the Mummy. And then about a year later, we get Wave 2 in 1994, where we get Creature Leo, which is one of my all-time favorite figures, Metaluna Mutant Raph, Invisible Man Mikey, and then April as the Bride of Frankenstein. So let's take a look at the figures. Here are some of the Wave 1 figures right here. We've got Leo as the Wolfman. Very, very nice. This one is a little mucked up, but Raph has got his little cobra sai. This is the Mummy Raph. And these all have glow-in-the-dark features.
Yeah, which is one of the things that I love the most about these figures so much.
Again, we got Dracula Don and Mikey as Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, these figures are all about $30 to $40 each now. Not too bad for some really, really good figures. Out of Wave 2, I only have Creature Leo. The details are amazing. I just think that the original Playmates line was one of my favorite toy lines just in general. So just getting this figure in that line, in that style, is so, so cool. This figure is one of the pricier ones. It's $100. And this whole second wave is pretty pricey. Mikey and Raph are really expensive. They're $300 each. April is you could probably get her for $50 to $80 or something. But this is so beautiful. I even am tempted to just get another one so I can get his bandana. So sadly, we didn't get any crossovers with the monsters in the 03 line. And we get like a halfway crossover with the monsters in the 2012 line.
But we'll take it.
Yeah, it's kind of towards the end of the line with the tails of the TMNT figures. I actually recently got the repros from Walmart. It's crazy that they're already doing repros of these figures. So this time around, we get Donnie as Frankenstein's monster instead of Mikey. We also get Leo as the mummy instead of Raph as the mummy. Mikey as the Wolfman, almost like a Teen Wolf type thing going on here. But we get, again, Mikey as the werewolf or the Wolfman instead of Leo. And then we get Raph as Dracula. So what's interesting about these is these are all public domain monsters. So they're not necessarily universal, even though they're the same monsters, basically.
Yeah, and the thing that I personally love was with Mikey's figure, personally being based off of Teen Wolf, which I just find so freaking funny at the end of the day.
We don't see a proper crossover with the Universal Monsters and the Ninja Turtles again until February of 2022. NECA gave us this beautiful figure right here. Raphael as Frankenstein. Beautiful figure. It's got some great details. It's so great to see them doing a crossover with Universal figures and Ninja Turtles figures. I love the NECA Ninja Turtles figures, and I love the NECA Universal Monster figures. So naturally, again, I'm loving these things. They're my favorite.
This figure actually got me back into collecting, guys.
It's a really great figure. Next, we get Leo as the Hunchback. This is a new monster for the crossovers and is more of a deep cut monster for Universal. He's a monster we don't see represented very much. And what's cool about this figure is he even has a storage shell, which is just a great detail for the figure, but also is a little callback to the original Storage Shell Turtles Playmates line. Look how awesome and detailed these are. And NECA we trust. Next, we get Mummy Mikey. Great figure. Comes with so many great accessories. Look, he even comes with a little snake. The nunchucks being the Egyptian cross is really cool. The hieroglyphics on his shell. It even comes with a second head that's based off of the deteriorating masks of the animatronic Ninja Turtles heads from the second movie, I think.
Legend says they are cursed.
Next, we get April as the Bride of Frankenstein. One of the few figures with the line that is consistent with the original Playmates line. Great figure again, great detail. Another figure that again is drawing off of the 90s movie style. Next, we get Invisible Man Donnie. Beautiful figure. Even love how his shell is invisible and you see the pizza slices in there. And even his wrappings make it look like he has buck teeth. So again, NECA is giving us all of these original monsters that we're seeing in the original line, but they're swapping them around a little bit and giving us new monsters.
He has buck teeth, I never noticed that.
Yeah, look. Then we get Wolfman Raph, which is another great figure.
Such an originally awesome mashup, guys. Like, I love this one so much.
It's definitely more fitting for the character, I feel like. He even comes with a sai that looks like the Wolfman's cane. Really cool figure. His alternate head is a little weird, but I still love it.
What's the alternate head again?
Dude, it's like smoothed over on the top and he's got these
it's kind of
eyes.
like the Juan Shane Jr. has like the slick back hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Next in the line, we get Splinter as Van Helsing. I couldn't have imagined that we were going to get Van Helsing this line, but it's really cool. Again, giving us a movie-inspired Splinter. And he just looks so perfect in this outfit.
Yeah, it just captures the original 1990 film so perfectly, guys.
Such a great figure. Next, we get Casey as the Phantom of the Opera. Again, more of a deep-cut monster and a really cool collab, especially when you get that hockey mask that's cracked to mimic the Phantom's mask.
Again, half the fun of that figure is just the amount of like swappable heads that you have for kids to play with.
And he's got a lot of old-fashioned hockey gear on, even this big glove on the side with the skull and crossbones. Such a really cool figure.
I kind of like it how it's kind of like a little deep cut reference to the 2012 figure for Casey, you know?
Last but definitely not least, one of my favorite figures of all time, other than the original version of this figure, which I like just a little bit more, Leo as the creature from the Black Lagoon. The detail on this thing is immaculate. His head sculpt screams the original mask of the creature. Even the net that's wrapped around him, his katanas, which are almost like harpoons that he uses to catch fish. Such a cool figure.
Yeah, and again, it just adds so much to the original design. Those creators are not going to be like, hey, let's just take the greatness of the Jim Henson suits and like the awesomeness of the original Creature suit and make something great.
And then for a while, we kept getting teased and teased and teased about a Dracula Shredder. And then only just recently, while we were planning this video, it got released at Toy Fair. We also got looks at a two-headed turtle, which was like Don
and
Mikey,
Mike, which looks pretty awesome.
And it's got like a Cyclops head. Looks so cool. Looks like some Ray Harryhausen type stuff.
Yeah, I love it though.
So cool.
Looks so funny.
And then we get a Metaluna mutant Krang, which looks
looks
awesome.
immaculate.
We get this Krang brain that looks like the Metaluna mutant, but also the robot body that looks like the robot from that movie. And it's, again, a callback to the Android Krang. Funny enough, Buddy has a variant comic cover here, which showcases the Ninja Turtles crossover with the Universal Monsters. And this actually does feature the same crossover characters as the original Playmates line. 2022 was a great time for Ninja Turtles crossovers, but it was a bad time for our wallets. Because we've got Ninja Turtle Power Rangers crossover figures. We first see the Power Rangers crossover with the Ninja Turtles in the In Space episode where they cross over with the Next Mutation live action TV show.
Great show, guys. Great.
I love it, honestly. It's corny, it's weird, but it's that like Saban Power Rangers type thing.
Underrated figure line also.
It's fun. Yeah, I really like the figures. They're a little gummy and weird, but I like them. Only recently we started to get Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers comics, which we'll go more into depth about at a later date. But we're going to talk about the 2022 Hasbro Ninja Turtles Power Rangers crossover. Again, another crossover that is taking two of my favorite things, Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers, and mixing them together. This is Leo as the Blue Ranger. Their suits are so nice. They bring the flair of the Ninja Turtles and mix it perfectly with these suits for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We get the Katana Lance that also connects together like the Blue Ranger's lance. We even get the diamond in the chest that's like the diamond in the middle of the Power Rangers costume, a gold shell which looks really cool, and these helmets that have red eyes in the visor, which looks so cool. This line gives us some great swappable heads for the turtles. You can almost pose them with the turtles holding their helmets. This is Donatello as the Black Ranger, again mixing his bow staff with the axe/blaster of the Mastodon Ranger. Next we get Michelangelo as the Yellow Ranger. You may notice his nunchucks are also the Yellow Ranger's daggers. Again, another great figure. Next we get Raph as the Red Ranger. He looks so amazing. Raph's size mixed nicely with the Tyrannosaurus Ranger's swords. Really cool crossover there. Then we get April O'Neil as the Pink Ranger, and you can tell this is April because the Pink Ranger doesn't have a skirt. And she also has a microphone. Again, another great head sculpt for her alternate head. It's really cool getting the Ninja Turtles in the Lightning collection because Hasbro basically dominates the 6-inch action figure market. So it's great to see them represented in this baseline for action figures. But again, we just get figures like this, which is basically just one of the first figures in the first wave, just without a skirt and with a microphone. And for our last Ranger, we get Shredder as the Green Ranger. Another great crossover. Shredder looks amazing. I love the way that they do the dragon shield, the mixture between his helmet and the Green Ranger's helmet. Such a beautiful figure. It kind of ties into that edginess and the evilness of the Green Ranger. I love the cloth cape and the wiring in it. But my only problem with this figure and just the design in general is that they don't tie more elements of the Rangers into his costume.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't like how he's sleeveless. I wish he looked more like the Turtles did, but still a great figure. And the last figure of the line here is Tommy Oliver as a Foot Clan Ninja. Honestly, this is just a really cool Foot Clan Ninja action figure. I feel like it's something that can fit perfectly into like the G.I. Joe classified line. But we get another Tommy Oliver head sculpt to go with this figure, and it plays off the whole the Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver's evil. So that pretty much wraps it up for the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles figures. I really wish they did more. I really wish the Lightning collection wasn't dead, so we could have gotten the mutated Rangers. Playmates better do that. I swear to God. This is a layup for Playmates because they do the Ninja Turtles and now they got Power Rangers.
Or NECA.
The next crossover we're going to talk about is the crossover with the Ninja Turtles and Masters of the Universe. Something that I feel like fans have been waiting for a long time. Finally in 2024, Mattel finally gives us the Turtles of Grayskull line, which is almost like a piggyback off of the Masters of the Universe Origins line. They kind of use the same build for the figures. So I'm going to show a couple of my favorite figures from the line. We got Metal Bato, which is Roboto mixed with Metalhead. Such a great figure. This is actually a build-a-figure. You have to buy a few different deluxe figures in the line to build Metal Bato. And he even retains the same action feature as Roboto, where you can spin his waist and his jaw clanks. Next, we're looking at one of the newer figures in the line. This is the second Donnie that we get. This is Donnie in a kind of Snake Man Eternia armor, because we're almost into the Snake Man era of this line, where the Ninja Turtles are gearing up to fight the Snake Man.
So Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, basically Mark Zuckerberg and Queen Elizabeth. He's got this really, really cool snake-inspired hood and mask. Such a great figure. And his bow staff, again, has these like Eternian bits on the ends with little fire. Really cool. Another one of my favorite figures here is 2 Bobsteady, which is a crossover with Bebop and Rocksteady with 2 Bad. He comes with a big sword that almost looks like a dagger, like a military knife. And he's got interchangeable hands here, but this one is a mace on a chain. Just to get a figure that has 2 heads and it's Bebop and Rocksteady.
It's the perfect combination, guys.
Yeah, it's so cool. We even get mutated good guys like He-Man in this kind of cool opaque purple here. He's kind of all juiced up on mutagen. He looks like a wrestling action figure almost. This last figure I'm going to show off is a mixture between Krang and an ogre from Masters of the Universe. It kind of uses a bigger build, almost the Andre the Giant build that they used in the WWE crossover with Motu. But we get this amazing middle section with a great Krang. The first time we get to see this ogre species in this newer Masters line. And it's just an amazing figure.
Anything merging with Krang's android body just always somehow is just so much fun.
So guys, thank you for stopping by and talking some turtles with us. We hope you enjoyed episode 1 of Beyond the Shell, and you stay tuned for our next episode.
And guys, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and kindly hit the subscribe button as well.
Buddy, what was that? He means hit like and subscribe. Comment some of your favorite crossovers.
Later, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.